everyone. I'm going to introduce our dear friend Jorge that has been with us several times and we admire him. And I'm going to read a little bio from him so you can have a little background about his work experience. Jorge Moreno, Arozqueta, industrial designer, graduated from DUNAM, is a renowned national and international designer. During his career, he has designed numerous objects such as rocking chairs, booksellers, banks, juicers, among others. In the 90s, he began designing low voltage and high quality lighting systems for museums such as IMBA, INA, and companies such as Mexicana de Evasión. In 1991, he created a Toulouse brand, Objetería de Diseño, and in 2000, he founded La Jabonera Studio, dedicated to designing objects and spaces for Philips, Mexicana de Evasión, and Johnson & Johnson, among others. At Whirlpool Corporation, the leading appliance manufacturer and #1 in the market, Jorge Moreno is responsible for providing a global design for the kitchen and laundry department by establishing strategies and applying the next trends. In his more than 10 years in the company, first as head of design at Whirlpool Mexico, then as a design director for Latin America, and now as a senior director of Global Kitchen. Jorge is also a business coach with over 10 years of proven experience leading global teams with a commitment for innovation, people development, and business growth. Welcome, Jorge, bienvenido.
Okay, so Poder Diseño. I left the first slide in Spanish, and I need to confess that I always call my presentations Poder Diseño because at the end, what we lack as designers is really to the need of making our thoughts reality. And so how can we do that? And I like Poder Diseño because in Spanish, Poder means for sure power, but it also means to be able to have a possibility and to make things happen. And it's where I would like to center my presentation now. So when I graduated in 1988, design was something simple. I just needed to learn about aesthetics and how to balance functionality, ergonomics, and production. So it was a way to learn design and to be a designer. But today, it is much more complex. So the scope has been growing, and today I need to look for product design, but I need to look for strategy, for experiences, for management of the projects, for innovation, and even if I go deeper, we have design thinking, and I need to check environmental issues, social issues, economic issues. So it's a very, very complex formula today. Nonetheless, what is kind of surprising is that when we go outside, and even within Whirlpool, people don't even understand the basic principle of design. You know, they see design just as aesthetics. So what am I saying that? Because in the position that I need to say, a people leader in design. So my job in this company, this huge company with worldwide presence, we have 19 billion of sales. We have near 60,000 employees, 59 manufacturer and tech centers around the world, 67 millions produced per year, and 160 designers in 6 design centers, with presence in 97 million of households in the United States. So my work, I wouldn't say, I wonder if it's design, you know? So I'm a design leader, and I take decisions that involves people's future, politics, money, safety. I take decisions around the economy, around the world, the sustainability, and even inclusion and diversity in the workplace. So what is important is that I have a say, and I make an impact in what is happening in our world now. So the question is, how do I become a leader? You know, how I arrived here. And I wonder if my experience can be beneficial for others. So I focus this presentation in how I moved through those last 30 years to become a people leader. And first of all, I need to say that it's something that I never imagined. It was not in my plan. And going through this journey of leadership, I've been gathering skills, you know. And I need to say as well that you can see 1991, the picture of a recently graduated student sitting in a booth in the middle of a gift show in Mexico City with no company, no reports, a little bit of money that I was doing from some other works, and just dreaming about the possibility of becoming a designer. And from there, when I started as an entrepreneur, I have been going through different, as you heard in my curriculum, through different fields and design. I started as an entrepreneur with my products. I then become a consultant designer. Then I spent some years in the academy as a design director. Then I tried innovation and coaching. And finally, I ended up in a corporation where I am now leader my teams in India, Brazil, Italy, Mexico, and United States. So what I want to do, and at first, I just want to say some kind of important thing in case we have some students here, that I took my first job in the academy when I was 40 years old. That was the first time that I was earning a salary. And I took that job without any academic credential, not master, no PhD. I just jumped in and said, okay, let's see what I can do. And I was able even to convince the institution to hire me. And then I entered the same. At 47, I joined Whirlpool without any clue of how was to be in a corporation. So for those of you that are close to graduate, don't think that what will happen in the next 10 years of your life is going to be the rest of your life. Because, and I will show to you today also that there has been a series of circumstances that I experienced and that have taken me into this path. This path had gave me different understanding of design. And so let's go. I will take you through a trip in my professional life. I will be bringing some philosophy, some stories, but also I put an emphasis in trying to focalize or identify the competencies and the skills that I was getting through these years. So at the end, we can have a full picture of what means a design leader. So the first thing that I discovered doing this presentation, because this presentation is fresh, is new, is that I was having a different approach according to the year. For example, when I started, and this is what we do, the schools, you know, I really was only thinking on myself, you know. It was like I say here, it was the approach of an artist. You know, I want to express myself. I want to tell the world what I want to do. I want to make my ideas happen. And is where I started as an entrepreneur. Then when I was to the consultancy and the academy, I took more a role as an evangelizer, you know, because I was taking care of the context and also even tried to define or understand or shape the discipline on design in Mexico. And finally, the last two sections, innovation, coaching, and corporation, it was more me as a leader and really trying to have an impact. So, but something in common through all this journey is that at some point in the progression on each approach and stage, I felt I was failing to be a good designer. You know, something was always bothering me. And it's because of that was happening that I was able to grow and move forward. So the way that I want to put this feeling to you guys now and today is a concept that I brought from my coaching training. And I call it the designer breakdown. You know, the breakdown is usually when you as a coach has someone asking you for help, it's because he has a breakdown. And a breakdown means I don't see any solution to my situation and I need help. And usually as a coach, what you do is you just give a different perspective. So you talk to the people to try to make them move from the way they are looking at the situation, and suddenly they see a solution. You never give a solution to them. So I just described here the breakdown, an unexpected or unanticipated event or situation for which our previous learning has not provided ready blueprints for how to take effective action. So it's because I was getting into these breakdowns that I was questioning myself, what do I do now? And that I was able really to move forward. So I love this slide. I always present this slide. It's a metaphor. And you know, so you see that guy surfing there, and it looks like a precious experience, you know. But if I was in that wave now, I would be drowning. I would really be in risk of losing my life. It wouldn't be at all a nice experience for me because I don't know how to surf. So if I was there dying and suddenly I see this guy passing through and enjoying his life, that means something for me, you know? So it's not the wave, it's myself that I'm not skilled to be there. So this metaphor is very important for me because it taught me that when I'm frustrating and I'm struggling, it's all about myself and my skills and my learning, and it's all my responsibility. So I like this quote from Jose Ortega y Gasset that says, I am myself and my own circumstance. Not standing up for it is not standing up for myself. So we like to complain. Yes, we like to really find all the negative situation in the way we in the context we are living. But if we are not active and we are not acting to resolve that, then we are not acting to help ourselves. So after looking at the breakdown concept, I create something also new that I call it the Maslow pyramid of design. Okay, and I said, okay, if I would create something to express all my stages, through the pyramid, through the Maslow pyramid, I will use this one. So the bottom, you know, I have existence. My basic needs are existence. So I can tell I am a designer, you know, and the way to have this through the school and the university. So I was coming from the breakdown concept, okay? And then I was saying that I create this Maslow pyramid of design and trying to really find out what was my progression in each one of the stages and where I was having the breakdown. So you can see in the slide that we have the basic need, you know, so the existence of the designer. I become a designer through my studies. Then I can start working on design. It's like a need I cover. And then the next step of a psychological need is my passion. You know, when I really feel passionate of what I'm doing and I believe in what I'm doing. And then the empathy to really be able to connect with my context and to have an influence of my content. And finally, in my case, the self-fulfillment is when I really can make things happen. Okay? So I identified that usually the breakdown goes when you get into the passionate level. And the big difference of the breakdown is if I am at the expense of my circumstance, like the wave, you know, that I'm not dominating, or if I really can control my circumstance, that I'm start learning how to surf, you know. So this line of breakdown and moving from being a victim of the circumstance to having a control is like, for me, resolving the breakdown. So I'm bringing these concepts because I will start now with my story, and I would like to tell you what was the breakdown at that time. Okay. So first, when I started and I designed to become an entrepreneur, so my breakdown was I want to be a product designer. And in 1988 in Mexico, there was no way to be a product designer. There was not jobs as a product designer. You know, all the industry was more based on copying than producing. So intellectual property innovation was not a topic in the industry in Mexico. So it's where I decided to really become an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur, I create my possibilities, and I started really creating my own design system. So I start my company. You see the difference now between the picture in my boot and the first products that I brought. But I took my products to some stores in Mexico, and they say, no, we just buy Italian design. We don't buy Mexican design. So I put my own store. I invest in my store. I invest in my products. I invest in the manufacture of all them, and I start. So I create all the system. And I would like to say, looking from today, what I learned there is that I learned how to got the courage to take the risk, to stand up and assume responsibilities, and lead, coordinate, manage, operate, and learn from failing. Because I didn't have any learning about administration or whatever, manufacture, nothing. Everything was just about learning. And I really became someone very, very resilient at that time. So after some years and trying to get some guidance, I traveled to Barcelona. I met with the Barcelona Design Center, and they coordinate an agenda to meet with this company, Sante Cole, 114 Editores, Amal 3, and Vinson. And that gave me, I was looking just for motivation or for a perspective of something that was not existing in Mexico, because I create my company, but there was no parallel there. So I went there and I came back really quite motivated, and I was able to grow the business. 4 stores, 1 factory, 20 employees, and I start looking at all the work that needed to be done, to negotiate with suppliers, to create some export agreements, international regulations, social security, tax declaration. So suddenly I learned that owning your company, it's a full-time job, and design for that company, it's another. So suddenly it was in a tipping point of deciding, do I want really to be an entrepreneur, or I want to be a designer? And what happened at that time is that I'd get some recognition as a lighting designer, and a company called me. So that was marvelous. So Philips company acquired a company in Mexico, and they called me to design a line for lamps. And that was like, oh my God, finally this is happening. And that was circumstance to say, okay, do I want to be an entrepreneur, or do I want to be a designer? So I took the courage, I sold the company, and I became a design consultant. And I bought this factory. It's an old factory, an abandoned factory that was they were producing soap. It was 30 years abandoned, and I made that, and then we remodeled that. Because what I found when I sold the company is that I was selling my autonomy. I existed as a designer because I was able to create my own stuff. When I sold that, I lost that possibility, and I started relying on clients to really exist as designer. So I create a very, very nice studio to really convince people that we were something that they wanted to hire. And the first problem when I went out to the clients is what design is. Most of the companies at Mexico don't know, and didn't know at the time, what was I doing? What was the benefit of hiring a designer? It means different things to everyone. Someone, they just wanted the logo. The other ones, were wondering, why do I want product design? I already have the products that I need. I just bring a catalog from Italy and I copy what they do. So it was tough really to start understanding how to sell and how to define design here. And I learned there another skill during that is that I needed a strategic mindset. It was not going and saying, guys, you need a product. It was just going and saying, you need a strategy. And in order to do that, my learning at that time is understanding the understanding. So it was not understanding what I used to understand from design. It was understanding how the other people, my clients, were looking at the world. Active listening, empathy, storytelling, presentation skills, even ambition and possibility. I was surprised how some companies are not ambition at all. They don't want to be the number one. They just want to make money. It doesn't matter, if I copy. So even presenting a new perspective about ambition and
Sorry, Jorge, I think we've lost your sound again.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's working because there's a small notice that says unstable. So if you make the sign, I stop and I wait for it to come.
I'll just do this.
Okay.
Thank you.
So okay, and also again risk management. Suddenly I was responsible for an investment of 11 million pesos of a company, and they were putting that money in to produce stuff because of my idea. So I found out at that time that moving from this is what I do into I'll do what you need was the clue, okay? And suddenly I would need to say we were doing a lot of money. Companies like Coca-Cola, Kellogg's, Johnson Wax, those companies, they really have budget to do to do good business. But in the other side, I found it that my competition there was starting to be Walter Landor, Ogilvy, McCann Erickson, all those big advertising companies that just discovered that they could do product design as well. So the company starts saying, okay, if you would like to keep on working with us, you need to do other stuff, like events and publicity, catalogs. And I said, no. And then I asked myself, am I really doing this for money? Do you really want to enter in those fields to make money and be more aggressive, more ambitious, and just looking for the profit? And I say, I don't know. And I was in that struggle. It was a breakdown again, the breakdown number 4 now, when I was thinking, and suddenly I said, I need to fix the system. And this is the nice kind of surprises that life brings, that the Institution Tecnológico in Monterrey called me and invite me to be at the school. And so I was looking to my situation in Mexico with those companies, but also I was looking to companies like Yves Behar, Frog Design, Learner Design, and even IDEO, and how they were able really to create these agencies around product design and innovation. And say, okay, maybe just going to the university would be the right platform to fix the system, to make a bigger influence. And then I went in 2004 to the Design Academy as a director of the design school in Tecnológico de Monterrey, and fully as an evangelizer. So I knew that there I could influence other disciplines like engineering, marketing. The future of those disciplines could be influenced by me. And for sure, I could influence the companies because this kind of institution have also connections with companies, and they outsource some services, and for sure the future designers. So I went there, and I like this quote because the quote says, if I have seen further, is because I have been standing on the shoulders of a giant. So it's incredible when you jump into these institutions, you can do much more. So all my intent to fix the system was really supported by this. I learned there really social intelligence, understand social situation and dynamics, and the ability to operate effectively in a variety of situations. So I was wanting to fix the system, but I really needed to learn how to do that. And I learned as well the force of a collective vision. You know, when I start putting plans in front of the leadership in the institution, and they start investing money to do our workshops, to do our, you know, to really create the best design school in the country, it was an amazing learning for me, and for sure to be able to achieve something that alone I would never have been able to. And also another important lesson there is how the leaders in the company, they just need to say one word to make things happen. You know, at that time, the rector of the Tecnológico de Monterrey, Rafael Rangel, you know, I went with a project of $1 million to build my workshops there. And the guy just needed to say, yes, Jorge. And suddenly my world will change. So this is an amazing learning, because I as a leader, I have the future of people reporting to me in my mouth. You know, when I said something, I can change the world of people. And in the same time, my life is in the mouth of my bosses and my leaders. So how one person with one word can change your life is something to be aware of. And for sure, here I learned persuasion, political skills to make things happen. While I was in the university, I was trained as a business coach, and I think I need to accelerate because of the time here. The first time I learned as a coach is every one of us is so complex that it makes no sense to assume you know who someone else is based on what is visible. So you really need to learn people and understand yourself. So here my learning starts with interpersonal skills, conversation, listening skill, interpersonal conversation as well. How do I talk to myself and how do I talk to others? Manage expectations, very important while you are in the design field. Emotional intelligence, communication at an emotional level, understand emotion and emotional situations. So one of the things that we most suffer as designers in the institution is not to have our expectation accomplished. So we also need to keep on driving ourselves on the expectations, but really to be ready to manage them in case we are not able to get what we want. For sure, to be trustful as a leader, and to create really a foundation of trust based on me being competent, being honest, and being reliable. And for sure, building bridges. We cannot do what we want alone as designers. We need from other people, from other disciplines. So how do we create a team? How do we create a cultural bond? How do we have a leadership philosophy that drives us together, that we believe in the same thing? And finally, transformation. I learned that I don't need to be the way that I am. If I don't like something about myself, I can change it. And I took that opportunity when the school was over, and I say, okay, this is operating. Now it's just to bring more students and maintain the school. I decided that it was time to reinvent myself. I asked myself if I want to be a professor the rest of my life. I decided, no, for the time being, I would like to go back to the professional. And my breakdown number 6 was, okay, what do I do? I left the director position, and I was thinking what to do when suddenly a headhunter called me and offered the position in Monterrey. So I entered the corporation in Monterrey as a manager in the Monterrey design studio. And for sure, what I found in Whirlpool that was nice is a way to grow in both sides, in having challenge of things that I didn't understand at the time, to get the recognition and for sure to get the income, an income, so I could really put my mind on my work and forget about getting money and grow and really to cover my basic needs. So a good learning in the companies, and I think in general outside the world, good learning for designers. Everything is about fact, control, and reliability. You know, you can go there with your points, your story is very nice, but if afterwards you don't go with the facts, it's going to be very hard for you to make things happen. The cultural branding and professional bias also is something I find when I moved to Brazil and then to United States. Origin and profession, it's a kind of presentation card that predisposes the receiver to the favor of a carrier. So what I say, it's they believe more engineering when they are talking than designers, you know. So that's a professional bias. And also I need to say that being Mexican designer is like being a Japanese mariachi, you know. So if there's an Italian designer, they will be more credible than a Mexican designer. So I struggled a lot to make my voice be heard just by being Mexican, not Italian or German. But that's something that you just need to lead. Cultural intelligence, capability to function effectively in intercultural environments, emphasizing adaptability to context. Is your people, this is the most important slide for you as a leader, a design leader, is your people, is not your ego, guys. So it's not about you going there and dictating what you need to do with design. It's just taking care of those designers and making them really accountable for delivery, the creativity. So, and I put this quote from Nietzsche, are you aware of the true and deep reasons that push you to do what you do? So this is the big switch, you know. It's not anymore about trying to do the nice design. For sure, that's your goal, but you need to go through your designers. So that means deep interpersonal skills, active listening, deep internal conversation, lenses, stories, and beliefs driving your decisions. This is a big coaching. Design and complexity. It is as bad to do too much as it is not doing enough. The virtue is on finding the right midpoint between excess and absence. So in Whirlpool, if I create something that is extraordinary, marketing will be afraid. They say you are crazy. But if I do something that is too similar to what competition is doing, they say, why you are here? So I need to find the right point to say, this is exciting, but I need to do it. And the learning here is complexity, problem solving, execution and result, capacity to have the right conversation, understand the problem, define a strategy, navigate complexity, get an administrate resources, drive efficiencies, and deliver on time. So it's a lot of stuff that is not only design, long-term strategy, just looking at the company, the company look at the past always to find their solution. How do you get the right communication level to really make things happen in a different way, just moving into the future? Persuasion and political skills, send a confident and direct message to leadership teams, and finding your voice. So as I said, as a designer on the table, it's so hard for me to get my voice heard when they are discussing about projects. So it's always marketing, always engineering. So how you get that on your table. And for sure, conflict management here again, frame the problem, negotiation, and emotional. State the agreements and next steps. And my conclusion, I'm going fast now, sorry. I want to leave some time for the questions. So I found this article in McKinsey. You know, in the last 20 years, the chief design officer's position had existed. So now designers are along with the CEO, but at most companies, head of design are ineffectively and confusingly integrating into the execution team. Only 10% of CEOs reported that a senior designer played a meaningful role in the company's strategy, and only 17% of design leaders thought they were in the right position to give a company their full value. McKinsey concludes that 90% of the company aren't using design talent to their full potential. And why? Guys, the world needs designers, but the world doesn't know it. So we have evolved, yes, but still we are an isolated tribe, and we need to do something. We need to elevate the impact of design through leadership. We need to make leaders that make things happen. Just good ideas are not enough, you know. Opportunities, coaching for design leader. I'm trying
we've lost your sound again, Jorge. Can you hear us? Are you there?
Am I back now?
Yes, you're back now.
Good. We have it under control.
Okay, good. I'm glad we all know that it's just a momentary thing. Yeah, just
Okay.
continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, it's great. It's great. So I took the approach myself, my context, my leadership, and I'm taking all the skills through those approaches. And I have been interviewing people, and I have been like gathering different breakdowns. Like, I don't see my possibility. I have been laid off. I don't know what to do. I'm not good as a leader. You know, leadership in the company, they just react to competition. So I'm gathering all those breakdowns and trying to find solution. And I found that all those breakdowns can be resolved through recognizing the opportunity. And you can see in the bottom, willing to transform yourself and embrace change and growth. Okay, so what I did is I create this model when I put an axe of myself, so this is myself in the horizontal axis, and in the vertical axis, I see the discipline and I see the context where I am. And I need to see the opportunity in my discipline. I need to find the transformation in myself. I need to learn how to change my concept, and I need to grow. So that's the model for the design leadership from my perspective. And in 4 steps, my breakdown, understanding my challenge, my personal project, how do I feel empowered, my team, how do I build bridges, and my leadership model, how do I make things happen. So just to end, guys, to be a leader doesn't mean to be the boss, okay? It's about our capability to raise awareness, coordinate, care about people, influence, and make things happen. And finally, maybe a bad news, that being a leader will get you far from the design practice. You know, it's a different kind of creativity and fulfillment. Thank you very much.